Before we jump into the episode today, I want to share something with you from my heart. First of all, thank you so much for listening to the podcast. I really can't tell you how much your support means to me. We've been doing the podcast now for almost 4 years. I can't even believe it. And I'm so grateful for each and every single one of you that listens, shares an episode with your friends, sends me a DM or a text message letting me know how an episode resonated with you or any aha moments. Seriously, I couldn't be more grateful to be able to create this podcast. It has been such a blessing in my life, and I love hearing the ways it's been able to provide value in yours as well. One thing you might not know is how much work it takes to be consistent with a podcast. In fact, did you know that the majority of podcasts don't make it past episode number 10? And we are well beyond that. And it's just a lot, thinking of the episodes, recording them, editing them, managing the guests, making sure that everything runs smoothly and gets uploaded consistently and regularly. And so that's why I have created an amazing opportunity for you to support the podcast monetarily. And in exchange for that, you will get exclusive premium subscriber content. So for as little as $3 a month, you can become a premium subscriber of the podcast. And every month I will upload new voice-guided workouts and breathwork meditation audio for you. So that way you can work out with me, coaching you in your ears. You can also take a moment to reduce your stress and relax and come down and ground down with one of my breathwork audios. So if that is on your heart to support the podcast for as little as $3 a month to become a premium podcast subscriber, I can't tell you how much that means to me and the growth of this podcast. I appreciate you. If you're interested, click the link in the description, become a premium podcast subscriber, new content every month, and while supplies last, I'll send you an exclusive podcast coffee mug so you can have your self-love and sweat coffee every morning. I appreciate you. Now let's get into the show. Welcome to Self-Love and Sweat, the podcast, the place where you'll get inspired to live your life unapologetically, embrace your perfect imperfections, break down barriers, and do what sets your soul on fire. I'm your host, Lunden Souza. Hey friend, it's me, Lunden Souza, online lifestyle transformation coach. I help people all over the world just like you who know they are meant for more, get their mind right and their body tight, and go from crazy busy to crazy happy. And hey, if it's our first time meeting, welcome. So happy to have you. And if you've been with us for a while, it's so great that you're here too. I'm really excited to share this episode of the Self-Love and Sweat podcast with you. Go, shorty. It's my birth month. We're gonna party like it's my birth month. Hey, before we jump into this week's episode of Self-Love and Sweat the podcast, I just wanted to pop in and remind you that in November, in my birth month, every Friday is Black Friday, and everything in my online shop is 50% off using code BF2020. So you're going to go to lifelikelunden.com/shop, use the code BF2020 at checkout for 50% off every single thing in my online shop, my online programs, online video courses, and even my one-on-one VIP coaching. I've never done discounts on this ever, but I know it's 2020 and I know you guys are showing up consistently and you want to continue to have that accountability and that coaching, and you're ready just to keep showing up for your goals and for your dreams and creating that new normal. And I just know it's been a super challenging year. And so I want to offer you 50% off my VIP coaching. So here's how it works. You go to lifelikelunden.com VIP. Fill out that application, and then my team and we will review it. And within 3 to 5 business days, we will contact you if we feel like we would be a good fit to work together, and I feel like I can help you reach your goals. And then from there, we'll hop on a free 1-hour best life strategy session to hash out all the details and really make our plan of action of what that's going to look like in that big picture, and really plan it out on how we're going to get there step by step. So don't miss out. Every Friday is Black Friday, using code BF2020 at checkout, or getting in those applications by 11:59 p.m. and 59 seconds on Friday for VIP. Here we go into this week's episode. Today's guest on Self Love and Sweat, the podcast, is my dad.
Hi, honey.
I'm so excited to have you here today.
Thanks for having me. No, I enjoyed coming off this Monterey trip. Has been awesome. So thanks. Really enjoyed it.
We went to Monterey this weekend. We're actually recording this episode from our hotel in Monterey. We just decided kind of spontaneously to do a little trip and get outdoors and go for a little hike. And so we were out at, what was it called? Where were we yesterday?
Point Lobos.
Point Lobos.
Natural Center there. Yeah. Took the whole route. It was good. Still
really
feeling
nice.
it today, huh?
Yeah. We slept like babies last night. I fell asleep, I think, before 9:00. And then we were both waking up just like, oh. But it was nice to be outdoors and relax and then get a good night's sleep and just get out of town and do something different. We both really like to be outside doing our thing, and it was really nice.
Yeah. Super time. Thank you.
So we today are here on the podcast to talk about the 5 most important words.
5 most important words. Surround yourself with good people. I stole that. I can't say that that's my claim to fame, but was fortunate when I got started in coaching to run into a gentleman by the name of John Scalinos. Coached at Cal Poly Pomona a number of years, and just made a huge impact on me starting out as a young coach. And so he had all the important words, and the 5 really stick with me.
Yeah. So the 5 most important words, if you guys you said it, but I'm just going to nail them or lay it out here. Surround yourself with good people. The 5 most important words. And so how long did you coach for? My dad retired. He makes retirement just look so amazing because you're always fit and active and out and about. But how long did you coach for?
Good question. Well, I started in 81. Let me see. I want to say a total of 33 years.
33 years coaching. And did you always use the 5 most important words or those words throughout your coaching career?
Well, when I first started, this is where I met John Scalinos, and how he made such a huge impact was I was assistant coach in Modesto at Downey High School, and coached the freshmen there. Great group of guys. What a super experience. But I knew right then I wanted to be a varsity head coach. So had an opportunity to go to a clinic in Anaheim. It's called the Stovall Clinic. It's an all sports clinic. All sports are there. And I went with a gentleman named John Lagos, who I coached with, and he told me about John Scalinos and who he was and what he was about. But when we got out of the car and I met him, he treated me just unbelievable. I mean, he didn't know me from Adam, and we stay in the same room. He picks up all the cost. Here I am there, just, new coach, meeting a guy that, by the way, I want to say that he had more wins than anybody else at his level of college baseball. So he's a legend. If you look him up, you'll know who he is. But anyway, he just treated me like I was, how you want to treat people. Mm-hmm. So that was how I got.
Because I asked this because I was at a wedding like a couple weekends ago, and this is actually what stemmed the topic of the podcast, because I was at a wedding for a friend of mine, and 2 of your former baseball players were there, and they both came up to me separately. Like they weren't sitting next to each other. They both came up to me separately and said, "Oh yeah, how you doing? How's your dad? Oh yeah, he always reminded me of the 5 most important words." And I recited them with both of them. So with both guys, it was like, surround yourself with good people. And then, half an hour later, whatever, met up with the other baseball player, same conversation. And so it's just, those words have made a really big impact in my life. And I know they have in the people that you've coached. And so I want to talk a little bit about like what that means. what does, when you say it to your students and your coaches and whatever, what does surround yourself with good people mean? Who are good people?
Well, it's a good question because, if I took it from a baseball standpoint, I mean, I played for coaches that were tremendous baseball minds, knew the game, but when it came to how they treated people, you kind of question it, as far as just character things, I mean, like I said, when I met John Scalinas, I mean, he was the whole package. I mean, he's a quality guy. I mean, he treated people, he just treated people the way you want to be treated. So as a new coach, I was gravitated to him because of that facet. And I know when I coached my teams, when it came to treating a young man or treating a secretary or treating a custodian on campus, when I was an athletic director, you just want to treat them, like you'd want to be treated. And when you do that, you'd be surprised the people that you end up hanging out with. They're good people. And if they're not, you won't have those same values. You won't have that kind of connection that you make, or, because you can make an impact in somebody's life and they could just shun you, you could try to be nice to somebody and they can, blow you off. But the more you're kind to people, I think that gravitates you towards the people you want to be around. And the good people. So
good people are people who treat other people the way they want to be treated. And of course, the way that they're treating people has to be nice and kind and loving. Is that what you're
Yeah, and it's
saying?
in any arena. I mean, when I was a teacher, there's good teachers. There's teachers that, clock in early, leave late. And then there's those that can't wait till 3:30 to go home, and there's people looking for shortcuts. There's people that, coaches, you can look at any arena that you're in and you'll find people that are in it because they love it, and some that are just in it because they want to pick up their paycheck at the end of the month and can't wait to retire. Mm-hmm. Talk about how many days. I never once talked about how many days I had left when I was getting ready to retire. It just kind of showed up. So It's not like you're counting the days, counting the hours, talking about all the stuff that's out there that's bad. And kind of like us right now, we're dealing with Corona. I mean, what do? You can sit at home and sulk, or you can get out and take an 8-mile hike like we did.
Take an 8-mile hike and spend time with the people that you love and connect with, family and friends and different things like that. So I love that definition of good, because it's just like, the people who are out there giving their best, doing their best, showing up with, love and kindness. And like you said, going that extra mile. And I can see how those are the type of people that, that you bring around, because that's how you are too. And so with your students, or with, let's say with the students and the kids that you coached, I asked this because, like, okay, you told me this my whole life. Surround yourself with good people. There were a lot of most important words that we had. These were the 5 most important words. Surround yourself with good people. But like when you're younger, it's like your friends, and understanding and learning about the people that are around you at that time, regardless of if they're cool, if they're popular, if they're, the best on the sports team or the smartest kid in class or whatever. How do you help your students, or how did you help, or do you help the students and the guys that you coached navigate what it meant good people in the classroom or at school, or during that age where you're like, you just want to be cool and you're just like trying to hang out and fit in. So like, how do you help with those words, or what would be like something that you would say to kind of that age group, or your players, of like, it's not about fitting in, and surrounding yourself with good people might not be the coolest, most popular, most this, or this. How do you explain that to that age group? You know what I mean?
Yeah. You got to be able to connect,
relate.
But you went right to the 5 most important words. And when you start with 1 through 5,
let's talk about them.
The first one's we. Okay.
First most important word, we.
We.
2 most important words.
Just being able to say thank you.
Thank you. 3.
The 3 is one that gets thrown out a lot with kids that I coach, and we call it the 3 C's. It's character, class, and concern. And then the 4 is really important. You got to take care of yourself. So, you went right to number 5, surround yourself with good people. But, we had, and I'd give it to our players, and I'd talk about it with our students, because if something comes up, like your kids having trouble, well, did you ever say thank you? Make sure you say thank you to people. I think that's a lost art. Somebody does something for you and you just kind of But saying thank you gets you a long ways, thanking people for what they've done for you. But the character, class, and concern is one I used a lot, because if something comes up and a kid's lacking in those areas, or, hey, were you really concerned about that person? Did you really care about what went on there? Did you, so you can throw, starting with 1 through 5, you can go from the beginning 1 and then.
So it's not like you were teaching. Yeah.
So and I taught my classes, I'd give them a list of the important words. Anybody I'm around, they got to go 1 through 5, reward them with something if they can do it, and then that way you can go to them and say, hey, what about the 3 C's? Then get their gears turning a little bit, because, it doesn't matter how old you are, you need, grade school, and, you can show good character, class, and concern if you choose to. So picking those out of the whole bunch of words. So.
Yeah, no, you're right. It's like starting with the foundation from 1st to 5. And I know we jumped to 5 because that was the conversation I had with your former players at the wedding, but it really is that compounding effect. And when you can kind of use those as different tools to navigate, or as you're coaching with students and stuff too, you can just kind of, okay, well, what about the 3 C's? And like you said, exactly. The wheels start turning. So it's not that you're telling them, hey, this is what you should do. This is not how you should do it. This is, you're still you, but how's the 3 C's? How's the 5 most important words? And let them kind of let that sit with them. And I like that a lot too.
Yeah, the way you brought that out, that's a good point, because that's exactly what it does. You're not calling them out on something. You're just giving them something you've already addressed together, and then they can look at it and get the gears turning and figure out what they're doing.
I do this in my coaching too. Like I'll ask people kind of certain questions where it's like, and like you said, it's not about calling people out. I just say, I'm calling you in, whether it's like calling you in to look internally and say like, hey, what's up? What's kind of going on there? So it's not about calling you out or trying to embarrass you or say you did this or this wrong. It's just like, here are some tools for self-reflection, and here are some really good ones there. I just remember, growing up, all those 1 through 5 most important words. And then they just really and that's been a major tool in my coaching too, is like, I always want to give my clients tools in their toolbox that keep on revealing themselves throughout the years and throughout the seasons, right? So those were really all 5 of those words, all of the 5 most important words, 1 through 5, really made a big impact in my life. And I think about how they kind of, so when I first heard them, I was young and I was in school, and I remember being in high school and Lunden, surround yourself with good people. And luckily I have a really good core group of good friends, but I also did surround myself with probably not the best, people sometimes too. And, really, I remember fighting with you and getting mad. Why can't I go? Why can't I hang out with this person? Why can't I go there? This person's allowed to do this. Why can't I? And not really fully understanding it until I got older, of surround yourself with good people in elementary school, junior high, high school, college, and as you get older, it's like you just kind of attracts like. And now it doesn't matter if the people I surround myself with that I most gravitated towards are not people who maybe like the same things that I do, who maybe believe the same things that I do. They're not people who maybe look the same, who are the same age. I have a lot of friends, all different age groups, kids, grandkids, younger than me. It's just really about people who are showing up day in and day out, wanting to serve with excellence, wanting to spread love. And it's just been such a great experience learning that and uncovering that, because it doesn't need to be that your friends need to look a certain way. They don't need to talk a certain way, it's just a matter of the people who I feel like, it's not what you look like or what you have that I want. It's just like that little vibrant, that spark, that light that you shine. Like, come shine that over here. And I got a little bit of that too. So I want to shine that on you too as well. And so I just think it's really cool to see how that's revisited and revealed itself to me throughout, my life. And so from a kid's perspective, when you were teaching that to us growing up as kids, I know there are parents listening. I know that there are parents, a lot of my audience are parents. And so when you're teaching your kids this, what is that like?
Well, I think, we've talked about the important words, 1 through 5. I think if you look at the other side of the spectrum, there's least important words too that I don't know if you knew those. But
I don't know if I know these.
Out, so I can throw those out because
Please.
That's the other side of the spectrum, and the single least important word is I, obviously, being an I guy, especially in sports, only worried about themselves. The two least important words is I quit. So when you're surrounding yourself with good people, you're going to try to stay away from people that are quitters, obviously.
Amen.
3 least important words are I don't care. 4 least important words is everyone is doing it. So when you come across that kid that, hey, well, you're doing it because that's going to get you where you want to go, or is it you just doing it because of the 4 least important words? And then the 5 least important words is let somebody else do it. How many people go through life just letting other people take care of things for them or let somebody else do it? So, when you look at the 5 most important words and the 5 least important words, it covers a wide variety of people and actually gets you to, like, you talk about our main focus was the 5 most important words, surround yourself with good people. Well, if you're encompassing all the least important words with the 5 most important words or all the important words, then you're going to gravitate towards those people that are going to help you get through life and have go-to friends and people that you can count on. So,
No, I didn't know those. I didn't know there was a list of least important words. You've been holding out on me.
Yeah, I have, I guess.
Now I got to add this to my list. But no, I love it. I love that there's the 5 most important words, 5 least important words. And I think that they can all resonate with us in one way or another. And especially the least and most important words. I mean, I know you guys listening, maybe you heard yourself in some of those. Maybe, like you said, sometimes we can be an I guy. Sometimes we can be someone who's like, oh crap, it's too much about me. It's not about, and so maybe one of those least important word statements just kind of poked you or kind of gave you a little, you're like, yep, that's me. It's all good. No judgment there at all. It's just great to have those realizations about kind of what things might be holding us back or what things we might be doing so often that we have to say like, hey, that's contributing a little bit to the outcome. That's contributing to the people that we're around on a regular basis. And I love that you said the quit thing. I wasn't even planning on talking about this, but I'm just going to talk about it really quick because I think it's important. When I was in high school track, you're laughing at me. Hey, I'm trying to have a moment. Dad, you're laughing at me. I'm just kidding.
I'm with you, laughing with you.
No, I'm just kidding. Okay, so I wanted to quit track because I just was over it. And I did track because I wanted, I'll do this really fast. I was a cheerleader, then I played water polo, and then I needed like what's track? Is that a fall sport? A winter?
Spring sport.
It's a spring sport. So I needed a spring sport to do to get me out of regular PE. So I signed up for track because I was like, I can run. Well, track meets are really long and you have like all day long, it's like the 400 meter girls, freshmen, 400 meter girls, soft, like you are there all day long. So I wanted to quit so bad and my dad would not let me. He was just like, no, like you're not quitting. You're going to go sit at every track meet the whole time. I even tried to like milk out a knee injury that I had. I was like, well, my knee hurts. Yeah. Okay. Well, you can sit in the bleachers with a bad knee. Thanks, Dad. So I did that. But that was a huge thing because during that time, I had a couple of friends who were on the track team with me as well, and they ended up quitting. And not to say anything about anything, but I didn't quit. And I continued to show up. And now that has just made a giant impact in my life because I will never quit anything, except for if I realize, hey, that's not what I want to do. If it's time to pivot and make a change, that's one thing, but never quitting, something with follow through there. And it all started because of that, right? We had that situation where this is how things come full circle, friends. We had the situation where there was the whole quit thing with track. And then shortly after, there was like a situation where my dad, you were coaching baseball and there was some awesome parents in the stands and saying some not so nice things about my dad. And I heard about it. And that was like pretty common. I mean, I don't think that fazed you very often. Not in a rude way. I mean, like, I know that it's not that, people are just parents and people are just going to say stuff about coaches regardless. So anyways, I found out that someone was talking smack and I was like, okay, I'm going to write an article for our newspaper, the Merced Sun-Star. I'm going to write an article for them. I reached out to them. I said, it's Father's Day. I have some great things to say about my dad. So can I write an article? And the editor was like, yeah, sure. Write it, send it over. So I sent it over. I think we ended up getting like the front page of the local section, a whole thing I wrote about my dad with pictures and everything about how, just a great influence he was in my life, how he never let me quit, and just kind of your overall relentlessness. Even though I didn't maybe love it when I was a kid, I totally appreciate it now. And so I was And then through that article I wrote for the Merced Sun-Star, that led to my article that I would write a weekly column called Life Like Lunden, which is how Runtastic ended up finding me. They found me through a little article I wrote in a little newspaper. And so I think when you go out and you just kind of try to spread value and love and truth and kind of just do that, it's so amazing how God and the universe deliver that way, because you're like, yeah, it was a crappy situation. I didn't want to quit track. My dad didn't let me. Oh, bomb. There was a great lesson out of that. I feel so fortunate to not have quit, because now I know what it's like to follow through every single time and how amazing that is. And then, that led to me wanting to write an article in support of, a lot of people talking crap. I didn't like it. Right. And then that led to a column, and that led to the Runtastic thing. And that led just, the rest is history. And so, it all started with, like you said, the I quit thing. It was really like that really spoke to me a lot. And so I'm very thankful for that. I'm sure that you were annoyed by me when I was crying and faking a knee injury to try to get out of track.
Well, let's get this point across. I didn't make you continue to run track the rest of your life. You started. We got to make sure it was the season. You started the season, and let's finish the season. And then when the season was over, now make a decision.
Well, I think people know I'm not a track star right now, so they knew that there was an ending to that chapter.
You could have been that 800 meters, man. That's a tough one.
Yeah, I did run the 800, but yes, it was just the season. So it was like, you're not going to quit on your team halfway through. You're not going to quit before it's done. What you started, you're going to finish, and that was the overall lesson there. I'm very thankful for that.
I didn't make you go out the next year.
Yeah, the next year I wasn't going out for track. Had a great coach. It was really fun, everything. But I just, it wasn't my jam there. It was just kind of an excuse for me to get out of PE. But you pulled me right back in there. But thank you so much for being here on this podcast, Dad.
No, thanks, honey. Hey, no problem.
It's very, it's nice having conversations with you here. Maybe we'll bring you back. But if you guys, have anything you want to share or any comments or anything on this podcast, you can always send me a DM anywhere, pretty much on Instagram and Facebook, especially at Life Like Lunden. Any reflections on the 5 most important words or the 5 least important words, we would love to hear them. Thank you so much for being here, Dad. Love you.
Love you too. Bye, hon.
Thank you so much for listening to this episode of Self-Love and Sweat, the podcast. Hey, do me a favor. Wherever you're listening to this podcast, give us a review. This really helps a lot. And share this with a friend. I'm only one person, and with your help, we can really spread the message of self-love and sweat and change more lives all around the world. I'm Lunden Souza, reminding you that you deserve a life full of passion, presence, and purpose, fueled by self-love and sweat.